and we have made some progress and are hoping to see more progress, is through an initiative called Low Power Radio, or LPFM. LPFM is basically the idea of taking 100-watt tiny radio stations that you can, that are incredibly important and powerful because they are so low cost to operate. You know, for thousands of dollars, depending, obviously a radio station, you can spend a lot of money, but you don't have to with LPFM. You can if you want to. But the idea of LPFM is that you can squeeze these stations, these tiny signals, in between existing full power stations, put them right on the FM dial, and then you can serve a radius of about 4 to 6 square miles. And so, for example, there are a couple hundred colleges and universities that actually operate radio stations that don't have a license, and so they're just on the internet. So you can take these radio stations that already exist and get them out in the community. In a place like Washington, D.C., where I grew up and I live, we don't have community radio. We don't have KEXP. We don't have good local community. We have some limited options, but we don't have a rock station, for example. So how do you take a station, plop it in Northwest D.C., you can reach a couple 100,000 people right there. So in 1999, we were part of a coalition that convinced the FCC to create this new class of radio stations. The broadcasters turned it into a huge political fight. They convinced Congress to pass legislation that basically limited the service to rural parts of the country and small towns. So in the last 8 years, we've had about 1,000 new radio stations. There's a fact sheet that talks about, I think there's 6 of them in New York State. But we're involved in a big political fight to try to get Congress to reauthorize the FCC to go ahead and put them in cities. And so that hopefully will lead to another couple hundred radio stations in bigger markets and bigger communities. But in general, expanding and protecting non-commercial radio, the community radio sector, we think is really important, and we